Think of whiskey advertising. If you're like me, you'll get confused, lost beneath the barley and the peat and the Highland mist, groping blindfold amidst the cut glass and the tam o'shanters. Then think of teachers, 50-50 with water. Now, their approach may not be your particular drop of the hard stuff, but you can't deny that it is visible, and they've had the wisdom to pursue this line unswervingly. Again, one can imagine the initial doubt. By concentrating on water, won't we be putting off the real drinkers, those who like it neat? Won't we be watering down the appeal? And for heaven's sake, shouldn't we be saying something about the whiskey? A risk. But compare that risk with the risk of being invisible. The fact that teachers have gone from nil and no distribution to third brand in 6 years may, of course, be no more than a happy coincidence, but as long as you're happy.
In one section alone of a recent New York Times, there were 61 advertisements for department stores. Most of them looked like this. One of them looked like this. How safe it would have been to follow the leader, but how irresponsible. Who is taking the risk here? Not Orbach. Orbachs were able so firmly to establish their identity that when a poll was conducted in New York on what store did the most advertising, most people thought that Orbachs came second after Macy's. In fact, they were 31st. But big spaces and brilliant visualization aren't necessary to establish an identity. E.H. Brooks did it by being the first estate agent to follow the old advertising rules, don't oversell your product.
£3,995 freehold. Antiquarian proudly offers his ghastly Peckham house, almost innocent of plumbing, no bathroom, bodily ablutions confined to a couple of sinks in the canal at the bottom of the garden. Move quickly. A dump like this will soon be worth well over £10,000.
After a few months of running ads like that, the Brooks column was being read as a regular part of the Sunday papers. The space cost the same, but how much greater was the value of that space?
This, we believe, is one of the biggest risks, one of the biggest traps of them all. For very understandable reasons, most advertisers want to appeal to the maximum number of people. But advertising that says everybody loves, everybody likes, all families prefer, will quite properly be disbelieved and ignored. I don't think of myself as part of everyone, and neither does anyone else. In fact, my favorite headline in recent years was the one which read, "Everyone's talking about Shepherd brand minicasters." I happen to be able to tell you that this was a lie. Granada Television wanted to get new advertisers to spend money on Granada. Now, they might have addressed a general message to all advertisers. They didn't. I'm willing to bet that Granada achieved more by this sort of restraint than they ever would have done by greed. The company in London, on the other hand, wanted staff, female staff. They didn't bother to define who they wanted. They didn't want to exclude anyone. So they ran this advertisement in the Evening Standard. I think you'll agree one of the most compelling and persuasive headlines of our time. And also in the Evening Standard, also for staff, this advertisement. As with Granada, a very clear and selective advertisement. It may not get as many readers, but they'll all be the right ones. Beware of greed and grow fat.
Next, we would like to draw our attention to the risk of change for its own sake, or to put it another way, the risk of not leaving well alone. Now, both advertisers and agencies tend to get bored with campaigns that have been running for any length of time and quite simply want something different. But more importantly, being oversensitive to competitive activity can lead you into the dangerous area of claim and counterclaim. Dangerous because in constantly shifting your ground, you run the risk of confusing the consumer as to what you are really about. Now, here's an example of leaving well alone. An advertiser who, for 38 years, has consistently said one thing, the right thing, about his product. This poster appeared in 1928. And this poster appeared quite recently.
Research is expensive. Don't let's waste any of it. Let's put all our findings in the ad. A responsible attitude? No, a risky one. If we can't decide what is the most important selling point, why should we expect the consumer to do so? There are 4 good campaigns here. Give your child the children's aspirins more doctors recommend than any other. Natural, not artificial, orange flavor. 224 checks ensure purity and trustworthiness. No added drugs that may have untoward side effects. They were all good campaigns. The only trouble was that they were all in the same ad. Someone had obviously lost his nerve. Here is an advertiser trying to have it both ways. Step out in front in the rocket-action Oldsmobile Starfire. We gave it the tornado treatment, then tagged it with a new, lower price. He's getting it neither. What is the ad selling? A glamorous car, a lower price tag. The 2 messages are self-cancelling. Now let's look at the result of being responsible enough to take a bold decision. Schrafft's are a chain of restaurants, and there are many things you can say about a restaurant. Schrafft's chose to say one thing: you get big drinks there. The message is so simple, so monolithic, so clear, that it would be impossible to miss or misunderstand it. And incidentally, what a lot of things you're saying implicitly about a restaurant when you say that they give you generous drinks. Of course a good ad can say more than one thing, provided you don't change the mood of the message as the Oldsmobile ad did. This next commercial says 3 different things, but they all add up to one central theme. Magicoat paint is very easy to use.
Fact. Ordinary liquid paint needs stirring before use. Drips in use. Needs more than 1 coat for a first-class finish. Fact. Magicoat is ready to use. Needs no stirring. Does not drip in use. Needs just 1 coat for a first-class finish. These are the facts. Remember them next time you decorate.